Sure, yeah. So QR codes are this black and white square that we see in the background here. It looks a bit like Space Invaders from the 1980s. They're actually developed in 1994 by a company called DensoWave, which is a subsidiary of Toyota. And it was used as a way of tracking car parts in the manufacturing process. Since then, it's evolved into a much more mainstream utility. It started its evolution away from the manufacturing process to more of a media tool around about the year 2000, when Docomo, Japan's largest telecommunications carrier, wanted a way of transferring data from a business card to the mobile device. So a quick and easy way of adding contact information. And so they came up with the concept of using the camera on the mobile phone as an image capture device to transfer that data. So they decided that the QR codes, because they hold a lot more information than a traditional 1D barcode, would be a very good way of doing it. QR codes contain text in most instances, and mainly URLs is the main point they're used for. But they can also hold contact information or text message data and so on. So I'll give you an example of how it works now. There's a bit of software that goes on the mobile device, and Telstra is starting to ship this software as standard now. But also Nokia has it as standard on their Nokia N95s and also the next line of the N series devices. So the way I use it is we start the barcode reader on the handset, and we literally just open the lens of the phone and then point it at the code. So I'll just get the code in the viewfinder there. You can see it recognised it. I didn't have to click anything, and then it takes me straight out to the mobile website that relates specifically to this code. In this instance, it's our basic mobile website for our company QM codes. But codes can be used to link to much more additional rich information, such as multimedia content. Just to extend the value of that print media campaign. So we're starting to see some really good executions around the world now for QR codes, in particular here in Australia. We did a really good campaign with Vice magazine last year where we had an 18% click-through rate, a phenomenal response. And moving forward, you'll start to see Telstra doing a lot more advertising with it, and also ourselves. So QR codes have just been launched in Australia mainstream. Telstra has just picked up on them, and they've already been quoted as saying that they'll have the barcode readers on 1 million handsets by the end of this year. There's a little bit of a barrier to entry still at the moment with this technology, as with all early stage technologies, which is a bit of a consumer education component. So Telstra's adopting or taking on the responsibility of a lot of that education at the moment, and you'll start to see a lot of campaigns coming out with Telstra. More recently, they've had some campaigns with the Olympic Games, and they'll be doing some more things with brands such as Sony Ericsson and so on in the future. So this is going to become a mainstream technology, and the brands that want to be seen as the early adopters of new technology should jump on this straight away. But for any brand that wants to get a better return on investment from offline media, especially print, codes is a fantastic way of doing that. The great thing about them, as you can see, they're very distinct. They have their own brand in their own right, and it's a fantastic call to action to say to the consumer, you know what this is, behind it is some additional really good content. And it's rewarding the consumer for paying attention to your brand. So when you're doing a QR campaign or you're thinking about one, you've got to understand a few key points. You must link to mobile content. Don't just link it to your normal PC website. It's not a good user experience. Also, when you're doing it, make sure that the campaign materials you're delivering in the mobile space are an extension of your print media campaign. Take the story that you're trying to create in the print campaign and extend it into the mobile space. So don't just link them to your normal website. If it's an advertisement for a car commercial, don't just link them to the normal TVC. Think a little bit creatively about what content you want to display on the mobile device. So codes are coming. You're going to start to see some campaigns in the very near future. We're working with some of the major publishers in Australia at the moment, and you'll start to see some codes coming out in some more mainstream titles around, in particular, a film and media title, a music title, and a fashion title, a youth fashion title. And these are going to be the first major campaigns of QR codes in Australia. Moving forward, they will become mainstream, smaller businesses will adopt to them and so on. So it's early days yet, but I'd say within the next 18 to 24 months, you'll see codes everywhere.